Hello there, it's Josh here with a quick video preview of the 555 at Newbury. I'll jump back over to the blog. Future investment 1.16 to 1. Hopefully he runs better than the other three pokes so far this season. As you may or may not know, I'm trying to stick to my own content, stats content, eye catchers, etc. as my way into a horse, way into a race. Future investment's the one I like most at the prices today. We shall see how the others get on. Johann's in a 3-year-old only handicap, which I want to leave. That looks an interesting race for the future. He might go well. But yeah, future investments, the one I've gone with at 6 to 1. He's top 4 in horse race based ratings, which you may or may not know win around 56% or so of all flat handicaps in horse race base. No, 62% or so, I should say. 56% of 12 runner handicaps as a guide. So yeah, future investment. Let me just stick to him, otherwise this video will last too long. The weigh-in was hot form, mainly from this York race. The race bets handicap, which is a much deeper 62,000 class 2. Obviously the prize money and stuff has come down a bit this season, but this is a lesser class 2 handicap than that. They were all beaten by and stuffed by the 98 rated Hamish, who looked like a listed group horse in a handicap, and it'll be interesting to see what he does here. He went up to a mark of 107 after that, but then got turned over 1 to 2. But he's interesting if he comes back this season. Elysian Flame then went over hurdles. He looks very interesting if the Easterbees decide to bring him back on the flat in a staying race, but he's an interesting one to keep an eye on. The form, hopefully you can see there, Holy Kingdom, who won at the Guineas meeting this season, did it pretty well off 82 or so under James Doyle. He looks like a stayer worth following in what could be a decent race also. Then you've got Rafe Beckett's Moon King, who's won on his return this season. So really this is looking like a decent race. If you go back and watch it, he cruised up. That was over 1 mile 6, 14 furlongs. He cruised up with kind of a couple furlongs to go. He was upside Hamish, who then kind of class and staying power won out. But future investment, you know, kept on. He ran okay. I think this trip in kind of with a bit of cut may be ideal. He travels well on the pace. He ticks that box. He can track the pace, but he should be in a no excuses position around here, I hope, from draw box number 1. So yeah, that is decent form, and I think the best handicapping form in this race on show. This race here, I can ignore the Goodwood run. That clearly wasn't his running, and you know, some horses don't like Goodwood. Maybe he was just got buzzed up or something. I don't really know. But if I jump to this Ulster Derby Premier Handicap, you can see how well this has worked out. Also, produced numerous winners that have gone on to rate much higher. That was a decent 3-year-old only handicap again. Where he just got outstayed in the final kind of half furlong, I think. So that's the horse. He ticks all the boxes you want, really. Unexposed, more to come, has achieved a decent level of form already in his racing, in my mind, in a lesser race. He ran well on his day on his racecourse debut at the beginning of last season. The market should indicate whether or not he's ready, I think, but the horse looks solid. Then you're looking at yeah, I've got my way in. I've got hot form. I think he's well handicapped and will leave a mark of 89 behind, hopefully today. If not on the next 3 runs, I'd be shocked if he didn't win a decent race or semi-decent, and I'm hoping he'll start with this one. Yeah, only 7th run of his race. 3rd handicap, is it, or 4th handicap? There should be much more to come. So that's the horse. Excuse me. The trainer's in red hot form, as you can see, banging in the winners in the last few days, including a fair few. I think he's yeah, 5 from 12, 6 places with his horses in handicaps of those making their seasonal return. Yeah, performing 71% above market expectations, nearly 3 times the winners of the trainer cohort as a whole. So yeah, they're doing really, really well, having had a quiet start. There's also some other stats back up the trainer and jockey, which I know did 5 from 12, 6 places in the last year. Ross Orion could be one to track. He's only ridden 1 winner here, but he's ridden a lot of outsiders, and enough have gone well having looked through. I'm not going to use that as an excuse. So yeah, he just looks solid, ticks a lot of boxes. yeah, like I said, the hot form element, unexposed, I think is well handicapped. He's got a touch of class, especially compared to this race, which is lesser than some of those couple of Class 2s he ran in. The trainer's in form. He's readied them after a break. The trainer-jockey combo work well. It's an interesting jockey booking. The horse races prominently. Basically ticks every box you want, and the ground isn't going to be a problem. Annie's around sixes. That looks 2.5, maybe 3 points too big, really, to my eyes. Mainly because I thought this was a 3 or 4 horse race. Away he goes is interesting. You can look through that form. You can see why he's put in his favourite. There's a ground question, obviously a fitness question. Something clearly went wrong after that July run, I suspect. And they've put first-time cheek pieces on, which niggled me at 7-2, given his profile. Why have they put them on? I'm not quite sure. But the trainer and jockey go well. I thought Sean Levy was an interesting jockey booking. I wouldn't be surprised if he won, because his form is solid also, and with the selection, looks like a mark of even 95, maybe well handicapped, but hopefully at these weights, given this stage of the season and the possibly softer ground, which would be a question, I think, given those 2 runs there, hopefully he is turned over. But I didn't think 7-2 was overpriced. I thought he was worth taking on. The other interesting one is Dascombe's. He stays further. He doesn't mind if the rain comes and it gets a proper bog. Heavy would be a question for future investment, but hopefully it doesn't get to that stage. He's got Class 4 for form, and he's now up 2 classes to Class 2. Obviously, he's got some nursery form at Class 2, and some of those races, his races worked out okay. I can see why he's up there. I thought what future investment had done is a higher level of form already, and he's also got more to come. But Roginski will handle conditions and he will stay. If Beckett hasn't got mine fully tuned up and Dascombe's has, that might make the difference late on. But hopefully, he has too many gears and too much pace. The only other niggles maybe if he's buzzed up and settled, like with any horse making seasonal return. But at 6s, I thought there was enough leeway built into the price there. I'd really thought he should be shorter, given the level of his form and his profile and everything I've just said. That was it, really. I could go through every other horse. There's a mix. There's a few kind of exposed ones who are open to unexposed horses with more in hand. Elgin, Island Brave, Genetics, Busy Street. So Michael Stout's interesting for the future, but they've been running him over 2 miles and 1 mile 6. I wondered if this would be too sharp for him, and he might need the run. Some of Sir Michael's have. I've made that mistake already this season. He might not, but I'm hoping future investment has a few too many gears and is a bit sharper. And that's the same for Sleeping Lion for James Fanshawe. He's also a 2 miler. I'd like to think 1 mile 4 is going to be too sharp, and he's got a ground question on good to soft, and if it gets a bit softer. It's a question, it's more of an unknown, because he's mainly raced on good to firm. He might be fine on it, but that's a question for him. Rafe Beckett's is interesting, in another one. Obviously, he's got 2 in the race. First time Blinkers though, and again, future investment has achieved a much higher level of form, and I would like to think is a classier individual. So I think that's it. Roger Varian's got a 4-year-old. He's in form. Again, he's got a trip question, ground question, although maybe not, but looks okay. He's got to prove that this mark isn't beyond him, but he's only 4. I question, again, future investments form look like a higher level. That Class 2 handicap form is better than this Class 3 form there, although that race has worked out well, in my judgment. And he clearly didn't progress after that, but he's maybe interesting. So those 3 or 4 would be interesting, and there's some of the others I've mentioned I'm against today for the reasons stated. So yeah, future investment, I could make a case. The way in on the blog, he pretty much, bar having a run and you 100% knowing he's fit, ticks every box you want, really. So I'm going to be, well, I want and what I look for. So I'm going to be disappointed if he doesn't perform here. If he runs his race, of course. And if he runs his race, he should be bang there. You can see the kind of heat map, pace map that I've organised by draw from the inside rail out. You can see future investment there. Genetics may go forward with David Probert. Ryan Moore may be aggressive, depends, or he might be if he's here to run his race because he stays further. Maybe he'll track one or both of those. You've got a couple out wide who will hopefully use up too much gas early if they go forward, or they'll be dropped in. So really, then yeah, just no excuses on any front. And if he runs a bad race, he runs a bad race. But 6-1 looked a few points too big, and he looked to have a much better chance than about 14%, which is 6-1 would suggest. So with that said, I will shut up and leave you to get on with the rest of your day. And fingers crossed, I've landed on a winner. We can dream, and hopefully he's backed in and the market is positive. But yeah, this is Josh saying thanks for watching and bye for now.